Daisy, did you do your vocab? You did? All right, then why don't you give me the first one, and Poppy, you can take the next one. And say it and tell me what it means. Oh, do you have a mouthful of pizza? Okay. Poppy, do you know the first one? Can you read it? You got a mouthful of pizza too? You should know this one. Mm-hmm. You got it. You do it. Just go with it. You had the right sound. Of. Correct. And what is of? What's an of?
Jeremy.
That's right. It's a Jeremy, who happens to be your father. That's right. Of. And avi is a construct form of that. We'll learn about that in a week or two. Avot is the plural. Would anybody like to tell me what seems strange about that ending on the word of? It's a feminine plural ending, isn't it? So of, as it turns out, is an irregular noun. And there's a handful of them. Most here's what we learn. Most body parts are feminine. Most references to land, to cities, are going to be feminine as well. And as it turns out, of is also an irregular noun. It is feminine, believe it or not. So it will take that plural feminine ending, even though it's a masculine noun. So we'll run into those every now and again, and we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. So, all right, Daisy, you want to take the one that's already done and then the next one? Here's your syllable break right here. Yep. So put these together. Ahar. 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 And what does that one mean? Behind or after? Take the next one. It's aher. Aher. And what does that one mean? Remember, this is the one that I, even to this day, get confused on. Perfect. Very nice. If you want to be by a student that knows it, go sit by Daisy. So, all right, Robin, why don't you take the next two here? Audits, that's correct. And this little guy, when you see this, this is where the accent is. So the emphasis is on that first syllable. Otherwise, if you don't see it, it's always on the last syllable. So audits, and what does that mean? Yep, I didn't get that one moved. Look at that. I didn't get some of these moved. All right, well, that's just the way it's going to be tonight. And your next one? Oh, she's chewing. Yeah, do the next one. Isha. Isha. Yep, it's a woman or a wife, because I couldn't randomize them, although I swear I did that. And let's see, Brent, why don't you take the next two?
Beged.
Beged. Yep, make sure that X is on the front. Beged. And that's a what? It's a garment. That's exactly right. Something you wear. Perfect. And give me the next one here. Bayit. Perfect. Very nice. What's a bayit? It is a house. Exactly. Now, for extra credit, which there isn't any in this class, can you pronounce the construct form of it? Bait. Perfect. And what about the plural? Batim. That's right. That's your syllable break right there. Batim. Very nice. Very, very good. All right, Jay, you get the last one.
Oh, these guys are so. Is that bot?
It's exactly bot. Perfect. And it's daughter, which we know it's the last one here. And how about this last one? So that's a noon.
It's a noun, isn't it?
Yep. The syllable break is right here.
So it's bonboat.
Bonot. Perfect. Very nice. Now, do you notice there's something seems kind of strange about this, that daughter, singular, a daughter is bought, but daughters is bon note. So if we were to think about this a little bit, does anyone remember the word? Go ahead.
Yeah, because isn't that the boy, the barn, bone, or
So yes, a son is a bane, right? And so if we put the feminine plural ending on son, it makes it daughters. Daughters. Exactly. Very good. Impressive. You were nervous. You looked nervous over there for a second.
Well, I had
You were with grandkids last week. It's okay. All right, let's do this page. Wayne, would you help me out with the first let's see. Wayne, take the first two. Your accent's going to be right here. Gadal. Exactly. And what does that mean?
flash.
You're going to become great at this.
Okay, straight across. Become great. Easy.
And what about the second one here? That's a
Gom.
final mem. Gom. Exactly. And gom means?
That could be a question.
Could be.
Gone. Also,
Well, I heard you get some help there, but that's okay. You'll
Help.
take it. No worries.
you're gonna get next piece of pizza.
Carol, would do this. Help me out with this next two.
that one's a
Huh?
and it's a question.
How do you know that one's a question and not a definite article
of
that
the
we're
vowel.
done? Because of the vowel. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Very good.
Next one's
Ra'ah.
bad or evil.
Exactly.
Ra'ah.
Yeah, you put that little, ra'ah in it, like a lion roaring. All right, Daisy, we're back to you. Unless you want to give it a shot. Do you want to give it a shot? Oh, you'll catch up really quick. Don't worry. Daisy, would you like to do the next one here? I know it's already done, but let's go ahead and say it. It's a sin, hirit, yod, final mem. Remember, it's a sin, not a sh, a sin. Nope, that's the one down here. Looking at this one right here. It's already done. It just seems like, I don't know. Seem. And what does that one mean? To put or place something. So if I'm going to seem, I'm going to put or place something there. Okay. Do you want to try the next one? You should know this.
I think I just said
You did, but say it again out a little out. Shema, exactly. And what does Shema mean? To hear. Very nice. Poppy, do you want to do the last one?
rather.
This is a sheen and a kamatz. So let's do just the first letter and vowel. Sh. Ah.
That
Sha. This is a pay, but it's the th sound. So this would be a th, ah, and then this is a final cough. So I'll help you with it. Sh, fak. Shafak.
flat.
Shafak. Exactly. And what do you think shafak means?
Pour out.
Exactly. So if I were to take this and were to shapak it into a glass, I'm pouring it out. Okay. Exactly. Exactly. All right. Very good. Very nice.
Quick question. So there's a dog in the comments.
Mhm.
That last word.
Huh?
If they were both the same, then would the accent be on the first? So
Maybe.
is that maybe the reason why there's two different ones?
You mean two different vowels here?
Yeah, even though they make
No, this, in fact, what the book wants me to go over tonight would be a few different verb forms. So these two vowels, if you see a comets and a patak in a 3-consonant word, you are dealing with what's called a perfect, so past tense, completed action, third masculine singular. So it would specifically mean he poured out. And you would know that specifically because of the vowels. He poured out. If I put a kamats A on the end of this, then it would mean she poured out. If I were to put a shirk on the end of this, it means we poured out. Or not we, sorry. They poured out. So the vowels will communicate what form the word is taking, what form the roots are being shaped in. So you can see, like right here, you see the same repeat. In that case, this is a third masculine singular perfect verb. He heard, he obeyed,
Well, there are
he listened.
comments in there.
Yes. And now you're dealing with a noun or an adjective.
Because they make the same.
They do historically. They likely wouldn't have. It would be a shorter sound. So it'd be something like Shema, and you'd hold that ah a little bit longer. But then you would also know if you're hearing it, and you hear a verb, and then you hear your subject after that, your brain's going to start listening for an object at that point. And so if you heard another Shema, then you might think, okay, it's something that's heard. It's a report. So they heard a Shema, a report. And oftentimes that Shema will take on even different form. We saw on the previous page these construct forms where the vowels were reduced here, like the vowel gets reduced on this one. And here the vowel reduces. You see the kamats drops to a shawa here. And that form tells us that it's actually a part of a clause. And so when you're reading, that's how you know where these words are going to get consumed in the clause or in the sentence. In the hearing, it's just so once you hear the pattern, I've got my verb, I've got my subject. Okay, what are we talking about? And so you'll be able to kind of put it in its proper place at that point. Good question, though. Very good. I kind of decided that verbs are a little early for us in this case.
Kamats patak always mean past tense.
Always. Third person, masculine, singular, he said something. So if you see the kamats patak, it will always be that.
Unless the form.
Yep.
They conjugate any words, right?
That's exactly right. So, and there are a suffix conjugation, which are all past tense. So they conjugate on the suffix. And there's so that's perfect, past tense, completed action. And then a present or future action are prefixed. And there's 4 different characters that prefix a future or present action. And they're consistent. They're consistent. So yes, Poppy Joe. You want to do the first line? I'm not going to have you do the first line. I'm going to have you do the second to the last line. All right. So instead, who would you like to have do the first line? Oh, you got busted. All right.
So it's an Aleph.
Yep.
Bet.
Yep.
Gimel.
Yep.
Dalet.
Yep.
A. Vav.
Vav, that's correct. All right. Very good. Daisy? No, Poppy, you're taking line 2.
Really?
Starts with a Zion.
But Put in.
Huh?
Daniel.
Very good. Excellent. Daisy? Daisy? Take the next line. Samak. Samak. Yep. Correct. Very good. You feel good with the alphabet?
I can't. I didn't. I should have tried to say him before he came here.
I want to give you a chance. Yes, it absolutely is. Is it just this one, or is there another pay in the line?
Just that right there.
So this is a pay, and this is actually a final pay. Comes at the end of the word. Yep. Yep. Very good. Very nice. Nice and brave. Robin, why don't you give me this second to last line? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Starting point.
Correct. You're there. You're there. You're there. Yep. Kof. Kof. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. All right, Wayne, you're up last.
Rob,
Resh.
Resh, Sin.
Yep.
In.
Yep. Man, that's exactly right. All right. Let's see. Who is going to be the one to give me the Begad Kafat letters here?
You got bands down there.
What the hell?
The Begad Kafat letters. So, all right. So I have a couple. Do you guys want to? Daisy, you take the Begad, and Papa, you take the Kafat. How's that sound? Yeah, remember I told you, raise your hand only if you know. So okay, let's let Daisy do it. All right. So the Begad Kafat. Daisy, go ahead. A bet, a gimel, and a dalet. And what's the Kafat? You. Taf, correct. Which one? Exactly. Okay. Pay, correct. And tav, that's right. Yep, we got the final pay there. So very good. And what's the characteristic about a Begad Kafat we need to pay attention to? It changes the pronunciation of certain ones, right? And so right now, this bet would be pronounced with what letter sound? A V sound. And if I put a dagesh in the middle of it, a dot, doubling dot, what does it sound? Like a bet or like boy. What about a gimel? If I put a dot in here, does it change its sound? No. What about a dalet? If I put a dot in here, does it change its sound? Nope, it doesn't. Not today, it doesn't. What about this cough? What does that sound like without a dot? Sounds like that musician. No, you're close. It's the other one that starts with a B. Bach. Bach. Right? And so it gives that sound where you're letting the air pass through. But if I plug the air hole, what sound does it become? That's right. Ka. Ka. Exactly. What about this one right here? What's it sound like without the dot? Fe. So it's an F sound. And if I plug it, like a P sound. That's right. And does that same rule apply here for the final form? Yes, it absolutely does. 100%. And what about this tav down here? If I put a dot in here, does it change its sound? No. Historically, they would have, but today we really don't 100% know exactly what the pronunciation is.
Hey, look, the final.
Uh,
The dagesh.
yes, it can. No,
I didn't think so because I've seen it. With
no,
two dots.
no. It'll have a shawa or a kamatz typically. Almost always a shema or kamatz. So
So when it's in the spawn form, is it always a K or?
It's almost always pronounced as a K. Yeah. My suggestion is you'll read, if you are struggling putting sounds together, like you're really having to like, okay, this is weird to put together, then it's probably weird, and just go with what's easier on it. So, yeah. and plus, as we know, the Masoretes added all the marks later. So, what it exactly precisely was, it's hard to know nowadays. All right, so let's do gutturals really quick. All right, gutturals down here. Poppy, I saw your hand up. Do you know the answer? Yeah? All right. I want you to give me the gutturals in the first line. Which characters are gutturals? Aleph, exactly. What sound does an aleph make? That's silent. That's right. What's my next guttural in this line? There is one right here. It's the hey. The h is another guttural in here. All right. Wayne, I see you over there getting help from your neighbor.
Yeah.
So give me the gutturals in line 2.
That
This one right here.
one. Yeah.
The het. Mm-hmm.
And we've got, that's it.
That's it. You're exactly right. That's exactly right. Jay, do we have any gutturals in this line?
There isn't.
That's right. Very nice. Brant, do we have any gutturals in this one? Ein. That's correct.
And
That is it. Robin?
Sound.
Yes and no. Yes and no. So, Robin, do we have a guttural on that last one? Sometimes, Rash, it's treated like a guttural. So here's some special. Who wants to? Let's go with this. What makes a guttural special and unique? It won't take it. It'll reject a dagesh every time. It won't take a doubling dot. What else? It's something in the back of your throat, so it prefers certain vowels to help it along the way. And they will take oftentimes reduced vowels, the ones that have a schwa and then another vowel marker next to it. So the gutturals make problems for us in the words because it can shift up the vowel patterns. So when I told Brant, it'll always be a kamatz patak for a third masculine singular. In point of fact, it's a lie. Because you can get some verb forms that are very weak, where you may have an aleph and an ayin together, and you'll get a different vowel set on them simply because the gutturals, they're hard to pronounce up here, join a vowel and get to the next consonant. So they tend to behave strangely. And it's important to remember that when we start looking at different verb forms, especially, some verb forms are identified by a doubling dagesh in the middle root letter. And if you've got an ayin, an aleph, a hey, a het, a resh, they'll reject that doubling dagesh, and we need to be aware of it so that we can look for other signs as to what might be happening in the word. So it's good to get those memorized now. My rule that I've been telling folks in the class is if you see a hey anywhere, anytime, stop and ask the question, hey, what are you doing there? Especially at the front of a word, if you see a hey, pay attention. It could be part of the root, but it's likely doing something else. So it's good to know the gutturals. They will give you problems. It is. It's actually 2 words. Okay, what 3? What does the word mean?
Hey.
Hey, and what's the second word mean? That sounds just like hay. That's what horses might eat or lay down in, or we put into big bales. Hey, that's right. That's right. All right. So let's do this. Carol, I would like you to help me out with the short vowels column, the whole one, all the way down.
Class A is
Do you remember its name?
no, I don't remember it.
Okay, it's a patah, but good. You know the sounds. That's good.
That one is the dog's like cigars, so it's a seagull,
Exactly. You got it.
and it's an yeah,
And it's an S sound. Yep.
and that one says oh
This is an I or E sound.
long.
Yep.
yeah.
Take either one for that one. Do you remember what it's called? Okay. It's a hirik. And so you can hear the sound hirik. You can hear that in it. All right. Very good. This one's we haven't spent a lot of time talking about, but it's in the O class in this case because it's a little weird. Do you remember what sound that will make when it's in a closed, unaccented syllable? It'll make an O sound. That's right. And it's called a kamatz katan, or a big kamatz. And the other one is a kibbutz, which is the one that Daisy wanted to, or Poppy did, because she knows about the kibbutz, right? Yeah, because you use your kibbutz to walk up the steps. That's right. You know the comments? All right. Well, then which one's the comments over here? This one looks like a plus sign missing its top. How does it pronounced? Ah, that's right. And what about this one? We go over this each week. If you have a kamatz and a hey together, is the hey a consonant or is it part of the vowel? It is part of the vowel. That's exactly right. And does anyone remember how we got these unchangeable long forms, the hey, the yod, and the vav, into the Hebrew language? How did those come in?
Wasn't it originally? It's people like know what vowels to use.
Exactly. As they started to expand into the written Hebrew form, we didn't have the vowel system, but they started to put some of the consonants in, the hey, the yod, and the vav, to tell us there's a vowel here. That's exactly right. And so those remain. Those are unchanged in the Hebrew text. So, Brent, would you like to give me the last two sets in this column here?
It's just an A sound. So.
It's a sere. So that's a sere A, and sere yod is that one. What about this one down here?
E sound or the I sound?
E sound in this one.
Oh, E.
Mm-hmm. And that's a hirik yod is how we'd refer to that.
So that one's always E, then the short vowel and E.
If you do I, it helps you remember, but you'll hear me pronounce it as E because that's how I was taught. So you can
But
think.
the long one's always E.
Long one's always E. Always A, always E, always A. But yeah, you'll hear different pronunciations. What about this guy right here?
O sound.
And do you remember what it's called? It's almost like there's a whole, you've got to volunteer. Olam, that's right. So Daisy, Miss Smarty Pants. What's that one called? What's its name? This one. Do you want to get some help?
Olam Vav.
It's a Holam Vav. That's right. It's a Holam Vav. No, the name of it. It's an O. And what about this one, Brent? It's an U. Do you remember what it's called? It's not a kibbutz. You got to be shurek that you know what you're talking about. That's shurek. That's right. Shurek. All right. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Definite article. This is we do a lot of review until we just kind of get it. We'll do this for several weeks. So don't worry about that. All right. So definite article review, a horse versus the horse. Let me get back over here to where my a horse versus the horse, just as a reminder. So the definite article, the word the, is attached directly to a word represented by a prefixed hey together with the vowels. And so just a quick reminder that if we have the word, somebody remember what this word is? Shalom. And what does it mean? Peace. All right. But if I put a hey and a patak and a dagesh in front of it, what does it make it then? The peace. That's right. The peace. Or you could say the completion of something to complete it. So when you see, that's why I said, if you see a hey at the start of a word, hey, what are you doing there? Because it can mean it's a vowel. It could be a definite article. It could be an interrogative. There's a question. Most, if it's on a noun, it will always mean the. Yep. If it's on a verb, it'll mean something completely different. All right. So the hey, patak, dagesh, this can get to be a bit of a problem. I didn't put them in here, but reason we memorize gutturals is if I have something like, let's say I've got the word for food, a hal, in here, and I want to say the food, I need to prefix it with a hey, but my aleph is going to reject the dagesh. It won't take it. The gutturals do not take a dagesh. And so since my form for a definite article is a dagesh in the first character of the noun, and the aleph will reject it, then this vowel will lengthen to a kamatz. And that's how I know it's a definite article on that one. So it's good to know the gutturals. If I see a hey and a guttural, then I need to start asking some questions as to what, hey, what are you doing there? So the gutturals will force the hey to take slightly different vowel changes, and they will change based on what they prefer. The gutturals prefer certain sets of vowels. So that's just a quick little reminder as to what we got going on that one. Any questions on the definite article? Are we good on that one? Till next time. Don't worry. This is our 6th week going over stuff, so don't worry. We will continue to go over it. So you're actually not too late. If you've had a little bit of intro into the Hebrew, you're not too late. All right. So we learned 2 weeks ago about noun endings and the gender. Right? So Hebrew is a gendered language. That does not mean necessarily that just because you're talking about a sus or a susah, that it means it's a female horse. Although in this case, would likely mean mare. It's not gender as in biology. It's gender as in how to know what words go to each other, with each other. So let's do this one. I know we'll start with somebody who I think remembers this stuff. So Brent, if I want to say a female horse, what ending would I put on sus?
Susah.
Susah. That's exactly right. And just so you guys know, to save a little time, I'm not going to do the vowels until we get to the ending. So susah would be a female, feminine horse, or in this case, a mare. That's our ending for feminine singular. And if I wanted to say the female horse singular, what would I do? Ha susah. That's right. Just like we looked at. I put a hey prefix on the front, and then in my samek, I would do a samek with a dagesh. And then the rest of it, susah. That is a really bad ah or sus. So forgive me for that one. I could probably just type these in. Ha susah. All right. Do I have a volunteer for male horses plural? I want to say male horses. Robin? Okay. So what is
Predicate.
Susim? That's exactly right. So that would be Sue, and then you would have the here, the yod, and the final mem on that one. If I wanted to talk about the definite, the male horses plural, what would I do? That's right. In this case, it would be, and what would be the form for my definite article? The vowel form and the other marker? It'd be a patah. And then we would do, what would go in the samach there? A dagesh. And then for male horses, right? So, ha, susim, the male horses. And you can see I didn't fix the female down here. It's some kind of letter carrying horse. That's right. It's the Pony Express. All right. If I wanted to do a female horses, plural, what would that one be? Just any group of female horses. Susot. That's exactly right. And in this case, it would be the cholam vav on that one, and then a tav. Susot. That ot ending is feminine plural. The em ending, masculine plural. The ah ending, feminine singular. And the female horses would be what?
What?
Ah susot. We'll do this one all the way spelled out. Ha susot.
I used on a house since then.
I did. You're exactly right. Thank you, Brad. Sue, I made that one. Yep. Susot. He caught it.
Wow.
Busting the teacher. All right. So there are 4 forms for that. And we're actually going to review this again tonight. We'll look at this in a different form as we come through. All right. Conjunction. Would somebody like to explain what's going on with the conjunction to me? Do you know the answer? So conjunction would be things like this. Usually means and, but, then, now, things like that. All right. So if you see a word that starts with a vav and a shwa, it is almost always the conjunction and. However, that conjunction may not make sense, so you should feel free to put whatever helping conjunction you need in place to help it make sense. This is the most common word in the entire Hebrew Bible. So if you can memorize you've memorized, I don't know, something like 7% of the Hebrew Bible. So you can memorize that word. Okay. It's crazy. It's used everywhere. So if you see a vav starting a word, or if you see what looks to be like a shurek starting a word, which kind of breaks the rules. Hebrew's not supposed to start a word with a vowel sound, but there are certain cases where we see the u show up in front of certain characters. Oftentimes the sibilants, the s sounds, and the mem. Because if you just try to say v and m together, just go ahead and try to say it without a vowel. Go ahead, try it. It doesn't work. Well, the Masoretes figured this out. The language figured it out, and they said, well, let's just make it an and that will be the conjunction there. So if you see, this is again one of my rules, if you see a vav starting a word, you need to stop and ask yourself, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? Okay? Because it will either be the conjunction and, or it could be giving you a particular verb form. And that will all be indicated by anybody want to take a guess as to what vowel is following the vav. If you have a schwa, it's always a conjunction. If you have a vowel underneath it, you're in a verb form. Okay? Always. But this is this marker will oftentimes almost every clause, almost every verse in Hebrew begins with some kind of a vav form of a verb. And within that verse, you'll see more vav forms of the verbs. And that's actually telling you where the periods for the prior sentence are. So it's an important one to recognize as you come through. And I don't spend a lot of time on it because you'll eventually just be able to see it. You'll pick it up and see it. It's fairly easy. So the reminder on the vav, that is your conjunction, and, but, then, now, so on and so forth. So we'll get into what we're going to talk about tonight, which we're running a little late. Sorry about that. We'll try to get through this quickly, as quick as we can. So what I wanted to go through was, I want to talk about nouns and adjectives. We talked about nouns a little bit, but give me a definition of a noun. What is a noun? A person, a place, a thing, one other. Oh, you see the new students down here at the end? Yeah, well, they've probably been told something. Let's what is it, Daisy? What's the last thing? An idea. That's exactly right. Yep. It's a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. So for instance, you could have a person like a girl, or you can have Robin. That's a person. You can have a place, a home, Jerusalem, Twin Falls. You can have a thing. Give me an example of a thing. That's would probably fall more on the concept of an idea, but yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. TV, a thing is a television. That's right. Or an idea is, as Robin said, could be heaven, or a righteousness could be an idea, like a thought. Some kind of an abstract idea can be a noun. Tell me, who would like to tell me what an adjective is? Just definition of that. These two that are down here in grade school that already know all these things, and all of us adults that they're having to relearn this as we come through, right? It describes a noun. Is that right, girls? An adjective describes the noun. All right. So, Poppy, give me an example of a noun and an adjective together. All right, Daisy, a noun and an adjective together. Soft chair. Which one is the adjective? Soft, and which one is the noun? Chair. Okay. Are you all getting flashbacks to grade school and you're freaking out? A little bit. All right. I'm going to give you, this is your fair warning. We will be using many English grammar terms that we have all forgotten and I struggle with, which makes me really happy to have Daisy in the class and Poppy because they're learning these things. I had to go back and relearn all of this. It was the hardest part of learning the language was this part of picking up the grammar in here. So nouns and adjectives, soft chair. What was another one? Did you come up with one, Poppy?
Yeah.
A soft desk? How about we do this? Fluffy unicorn. Yeah, fluffy unicorn. All right. So Poppy, which one is the adjective? No, which one's the adjective? Fluffy is the adjective. Which one is the noun? That's right. Okay. Everybody remembering adjectives, nouns? Nope, we're good. We're good. So, in Hebrew, we have the same relationship of nouns and adjectives. But because it's a gendered language, there's a couple of things that have to agree. The gender, if you have a noun and an adjective, the gender between the two must agree. The number, as in, is it singular or is it plural? Horse or horses? They also must agree on the noun and adjective. And the definiteness, when I say definite, this is the article, the hey that goes in front, also must agree. So all three of those have to agree, gender, number, and definiteness have to be in agreement for you to have a noun-adjective relationship between the words. So as it turns out, learning im, a, and ot as suffixes going to be critical so that you know what words go together. Otherwise, you may say, the Hebrew text may want you to say great king. You might put it on great horse if you don't know what's happening within the verse. So an adjective noun relationship will always, always, always match, always agree in gender, number, and definiteness. Always. Okay? And so we're going to look at a couple of examples as they come through, but you're going to see me sort of simplify this by gender, G, the number, and definiteness. Okay? Just as we come on through. So this is the topic for tonight. We'll look at a couple of examples. Wayne, I know you know this word. So help me out here. And yep. So, and what's the next one? Sorry, I moved forward on you. That's an E. Tovim. Tovim. Malachim Tovim. Let's say it together. Malachim Tovim. All right, Wayne. What is a malach? And if I have a malachim, remember our gender and number, and im means plural, masculine. Masculine, plural. So it'd be kings. That's the malach. So malachim is kings, and tovim, tov, which means the opposite of ra, good. So now I have good, but I also have this ending that matches up. So we might say something like good kings, because the tov is describing the kings. Tov is my adjective. Kings are my noun. They match in gender, right? They're both masculine. They match in number. They're both plural. And they match in definiteness because they're both indefinite. This is any good kings. Okay?
So if they were the good kings, Malachim,
Bingo. Bingo. They must match in gender, number, definiteness. In fact,
the kings, the goods.
what you just did, don't stop doing that.
Sounds like Spanish. Spanish, don't they? Except later.
So in Hebrew, an adjective can be used as a noun. So you could say, kings, good ones.
Kingly goods.
King, good ones. As in, because that's essentially what it's saying. And we'll see that when we start getting to the definite article. And what'll happen is we'll see next week where you have definiteness that doesn't match. Now you have a sentence, but we'll look at that next week. Okay. So let's try the next one down here. In the right spot. I think I am. So we have the same Wayne, I'm going to keep picking on you. All right. So what's our word? Our first word there?
Oh.
So it's mal,
King.
mal, ka. Go ahead and give me this one.
Oh, call. Oh,
Tova. You're right there. Tova. So let's say it together. Mal ka,
call.
tova. All right. So we know we have our endings, im, ot. So is an ending that would indicate what? Do you remember?
Good.
The is a feminine singular. So if I have a feminine king, what do I have? Don't answer that in today's culture. You have a queen. That's exactly right. So I have a queen,
No. Female king.
a female king. That's right.
Robin.
And what kind of queen is this?
Good.
A good queen. A good queen. Okay? Because we match in gender, they're both feminine. We match in number, they're both singular. And we match in definiteness because they're both indefinite. Okay? Go ahead, Daisy. It could be just good queen. Is that confusing you? The A is what indicates it's indefinite. It's any good queen. Any good. Okay. Let's do a couple more on this. All right. We're going to give this one to Jay. Go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
This is
It's
eh.
Mal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mel, it's Melek,
Melek. Yep.
and
That's an O sound.
that's Tov.
Tov.
It is. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm
Tov.
still confused between the
The
and
you-
the
yes.
K.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you. I gotcha. So Melek
So that's
Tov.
I saw it in the other one. Yes. Okay.
Melek Tov. So what is a Melek Tov? A good. Exactly. And Robin, do you feel up to it? All right, go ahead and read it. You got it. You got it. Malchot Tovot. And what is a Malchot Tovot?
Or that would be good.
Good queens. Perfect. You got it. All right. So when you see word forms that match, you have a noun adjective relationship going on at that time. Something is describing the noun in this case. Now, I picked tov because tov is not often used as a noun. Okay. It's almost always used as an adjective to describe something. But being Hebrew, knowing we have these 3-letter roots, these words can sometimes get flexible. So you may get two nouns next to each other sometimes, and you might have to kind of pause and think, what are they trying to communicate to me here on that? But if you see the two words together, and they will always be together, they may not be in this order. You could have tovot, malchot, and it's still telling you good queens. Okay, so sometimes it's not often that you'll get them backwards in order, but sometimes, especially when you get to poetry, because the poets, they want to sometimes put emphasis on the good versus the queen, so to speak. So they may shift up the order on you just a little bit, which is what made, for me, Hebrew D so irritating, because I learned all these rules and then the poets just do whatever they want to do in it. Or you get to Proverbs and they put such abstract things together. You're staring at it going, how did any English human translate this into some readable sentence? This is crazy. Or my favorite in Proverbs, where you have a 5-word proverb that turns out to be a 15-word English translation. Okay. So they're very it's a whole different level when you get to that. But narrative is where we're looking at for the first year. It's good. It's good times. So when you see the suffix forms that are matching in this case, you know you have a noun adjective relationship going on every time. So it's important to pay attention to those endings as they come through, so that you know where you are. Now, as Brent asked, I put it up because I was hoping somebody would ask about it. In this case, so we'll give this one to Brent. Go ahead and read it and tell us what you think it means.
Amelikat.
Melech Hatov. So this would mean
Good king. Or the good king.
the good king. And what matches on this one? There, out of the three, what do we have matching?
The judgment is
Mhm.
the number.
The number, and what's the last thing?
Oh, and the gem.
The gender. Gender, number, definiteness, all match here. Now, you can imagine when we looked at the word bot, you did bot for daughter, and but we looked at daughters was benot. So it was ben, son, but with the ot ending. So it kind of made it seem weird that you had a strange ending on that. Or you get some other nouns that are irregular where they look masculine, or like avot is fathers. So it can get a little bit confusing, but not very often. You could have in this case, an ha-avot, ha-tov-him. But it's rare. It's rare.
Would it ever be Talmud?
No.
It wouldn't.
Because the adjective this one is reliable. The adjective will always tell you the gender and the number of the noun it's modifying. It's always correct every time. But because there's some irregular nouns, and again, body parts, cities, locations, land areas, and then ish, isha, av, bat, banot, basically family relations, all tend to have some irregularities within them. All right. So they're predictable. As soon as you're reading and spending time in the text, you'll come across av or an avot and you'll think, okay, I know what's going on here. You won't even really need to think about it. Come June, you won't even think about it. Okay. But as a rule, the adjective will always show the correct gender of the noun it's modifying. It will not change on you. And it's how we know we have irregular nouns. People read it and they're like, this doesn't seem to belong together. We have an irregular noun. So that they're rare. You don't run into them. I don't want to say rare, but it's rare that you get stumbled. So gender, number, definiteness. That's what we're looking for a noun adjective relationship. So as a quick little summary here, just something that you can come back and look at is if we have a masculine singular, there's no change to the ending of the noun or the adjective. If we have a masculine plural, it's im. Sorry, that should be a final mem. That's me bad typing. Ignore that. In fact, I'll just change it right here. No, it was not a keyboard in this case, Poppy. I wish I could say that. This was Dad doing his slides this afternoon and should have taken some more time. Im, masculine plural. Feminine singular. And ot, feminine plural. Endings for nouns and adjectives. Any questions on those? What's your summary for that? All right, we've got... would you guys mind taking a few minutes? We can read a little bit. Is that okay? All right. Are you girls okay down on that end? All right. Okay, so we're just sticking with the same text that we've been with, so that the more we go through it, the more comfortable you can get with it. And so who would like to do I have a volunteer for the first sentence here? Do you want to try? You want Brent to do it, okay?
Everybody who wants rent, raise your hand.
Brent's gonna be our reader. You can just tell already, right? Brent and Rob, Brent's gonna be it, but she's like, I'm not gonna let him be better. I tell you what, why don't you try the first word? Yeah.
Where? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you got the very first part correct. Yeah. And then this is shav. Yashav. Okay. Ya shav. So let's say it together. Yashav. Yashav. Yep. And Brent, what's this word? Just the Yaakov. And why don't you take the next one here? Because it's such a good one. Bichnan. That's right. That's right. Do you remember what this one means? The sentence. Okay. Anybody remember what Yashav? What Yashav is? He rested. He laid down. He settled. So, and we know that that's a he by this vowel pattern. He settled. Past tense. So, he settled is that first word, but who is the he in this case? Jacob. So we can take that subject out of the verb and say, Jacob settled. Oh, you in Canaan. How do you know it's in Canaan? You guessed? Well, use that good guess and tell me why you think that's the case.
What is?
Well, the Canaan is a place, but there's a b in front of it. There's a word in front of it. What's the word in front of it?
Oh. Well,
Right? What does it mean? It means in.
what is in?
So in this case, the bet is a preposition, means in, among, with. It's a very broad use. Preposition.
And it's pronounced.
Because it has the dagesh in it, then it would be be. Or in this case, beak. The dagesh here is not telling us it's a doubled character. It's just changing the pronunciation because it's at the start of a word. Mm-hmm. So, biknan. Biknan.
So one's keyed by itself. Yes.
It's actually exactly what you see right here.
So like,
Except the this would be a hard cough. It'd have a dagesh in it.
no.
Ka na'an. So it'd be ka na'an. Kana'an. Mm-hmm. Yep. Jacob settled in Canaan.
So I'm sitting here. There's the shawag or
The cough right here.
yeah. So when you're putting an A sound in there, where are we?
So it's sorry. I thought I had my drawing tool on. That out. So on this one, the reason why we're doing this is syllable division. Beak, we need a consonant, vowel consonant in this case. So beak is our first syllable. Our next syllable is na. Beak, na, and then on.
When we were saying it, there was an extra A added where you normally have the shawag.
Yeah. Beak na'an. So in this case, this shawah is a silent shawah.
Right. That's what we're
Yep.
yeah,
Yes. Biknan.
Thank you. I just, what everybody was saying. is
You heard it.
adding an A.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but that says no vowel.
That's exactly, you got it. You got it exactly right. And it's unusual because the enunciation, the accent comes on the penultimate, the syllable before the last. So for you, Steve, as you were learning, it's best to assume that the accent where you put the emphasis on the word is always on the last syllable. That tends to be the rule in Hebrew. If it's not, it will usually be marked, but we haven't looked at what marks will tell us that yet. So the text we're using will give a little symbol over to say, here's where the accent is. So it'd be na'an. So you'd have that accent there. Good questions. And yes, Wayne, this is the preposition. You got it. You just saw it and you knew what it was.
Without preposition, there would be like a sound with
Kanaan. You'd have the helping.
Oh.
Yeah, Kanaan. Yeah, to get you to because if just again try to pronounce it, say the K and the N together with no vowel.
It's just interesting that with the preposition, it makes this whether it's like two separate things.
Yep. Bichnan. Yep. All right. Very good. We'll try another one here. Actually, here, let's go to one that we maybe didn't get to yet. Do I have another one? Yeah, let's get, we'll get to a good one here. Let's try that. I heard a wow. Did you wow me?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, let's do this. Let's look at this and say, are there any words in this verse that we recognize? Actually, let's read it first. Robin, will you take the first line? Mm-hmm. Perfect. This is an eh sound.
And
That's a samak.
we don't. Oh yeah. Yosef.
Yosef. That's right. Et Yosef. Yep.
Uh,
Keep going. You're doing good. That's a ka. You use this to open your door. Key. This is a name of a person who Joseph married. It is Rachel. So it'd be Rachel. Yep, you got it. Ignore that little mark right there. Y'all, you got it. Yalda. Mm-hmm. This is an eh sound. And you already did this one. Yosef. La Yaakov. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll read the word and I want you guys to repeat after me and we'll do that together so we kind of get a little practice on it. So Va Yaakov Ahav Et Yosef Ki Rachel Yalda Et Yosef La Yaakov. You got it. Very good. You guys couldn't do that 2 weeks ago. You're coming along. You're coming along. Very good. All right. Who wants to tell me what it means? And which one is and? The vav right here. That's right. So you've got and Jacob. Yep. You haven't learned this word yet, but if you know it, you can say it. Huh? Nope. You haven't learned it yet. That's all right. What other words do we recognize? It's not. Kind of. Some people say you can't live without this. Haya. Haya. But some people say you can't live without this. This is ahav is the word for love. And since I have a vowel pattern here, Brent, what does that vowel pattern tell me? Actually, Jay, what does that vowel pattern tell me? Hamatz patah.
Yeah, come on. Just sitting. We went over the first part.
Third
Gone already.
Third masculine singular completed action.
Oh,
So he loved.
you.
He loved. Okay. All right. What other words do we recognize in here? Yosef. And who is Yosef? Just Joseph. All right. What other words do we recognize in here? Key. Did you say? Key? You can recognize that one, Carol? All right. What else? Go ahead. Which one? This one? Rachel? Yalda? Oh, the La Yaakov? Okay, so what's the La? What word is that? It's a preposition. Maybe sometimes. Nope, it means two or four. And you said Yaakov. What was that one? What's Yaakov? Go ahead, Daisy. Night? Nope, it's Jacob. Laila Tov, good night. Yeah, but no, this lamed is a preposition. It's a word attached to the word because that's how they form words. What other words do we recognize out of our vocabulary?
The one having that.
Rachel?
Yeah.
And what does that word mean?
It's a name, I think.
Whose name? Does anybody remember? Rachel. Okay. Any other words you recognize in here? So we've gone over this one. Do you remember the function of that word? It's a definite direct object marker. It's not translated in our English, and it's telling us the word it's attached to, in this case, Yosef, is the object of the action. This et right here tells us that what follows, this is called a makef. What follows the makef is the direct object of the action of the subject. So in this case, Vayaakov, Ahav, Yosef. So Jacob loved, who did Jacob love? Joseph. So that's what the et is telling us. Okay? Right here. Yep, you're exactly right. Another definite direct object. So we can just translate it. So, and Yaakov, Jacob, loved Joseph. This is anybody remember what key means? Because or for. Could be that one as well. For, because who's this? Rachel. She did something. This is a verb form. Gave birth to, bore. And so when Rachel gave birth to our direct object, who'd she give birth to? Joseph. And she did that for or to, and she did that for Jacob. Well, it's Hebrew. It's all confusing.
So Jacob loved just because Rachel gave birth to Joseph for him.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason that
You know the backs.
Yeah.
Understands.
we haven't gotten there yet in Torah. We'll get there probably, well, maybe It's 8 or 9 weeks before we're that far into Genesis. So, yes, and Jacob loved Joseph because Rachel gave birth to Joseph for Jacob. Yeah, that's how that would be.
Either that.
Yeah.
No, it's Rachel's who he was in love with, married. But his uncle.
Yeah.
Long.
All right, you guys did good. We're just going to do vocab and then we'll wrap it up tonight. All right, I'll go ahead and say it, then you can say it after me. Hara, which means to be pregnant. It's a verb. Now notice this one. Jay and Brent, who are picking out patterns. Come on. So it's a verb to become pregnant. But notice this one, hara. Go ahead and say it. Hara, which can also be just an adjective, meaning pregnant. So if you have an isha hara, you have a pregnant woman or a pregnant wife. So when you see its position next to a noun, you'll know. You see it introducing something and then a noun following, it's likely going to be in a verb form. And sometimes you can only figure this out by context. So oftentimes you won't have just a pregnant ish show up, or a pregnant isha. Sorry, you wouldn't have a pregnant ish except in our culture today. If you have a pregnant isha that shows up in a verse, chances are the storyline has indicated something about a man and a woman getting together and there being some sort of consensual action or non-consensual and a pregnancy resulting. So when you see the word show up, you can figure it out in context because you know it's in the storyline. You'll know it's most of the time figuring this out by context is what is needed. All right, next one, zera. Zera is a seed. Yada means to know, or he knew. This is also the he knew her in the biblical sense. That's that word. Yes.
Is this like Yiddish yada yada yada?
It's very much as Yiddish yada yada yada. Yep. Like as in, you know. That's exactly its form. Except in that case, it should have been ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. You know. Yatsa means to go out. He went out. Yatsa. You can play around with that with like Yahtzee or whatever other word plays you want to do with that. Yarad means to go down. It's a very common word. By the way, Allah means to go up. Easy way to remember that is a lot of Muslims think that Allah is up there. Okay. So Allah to go up, Yarad to come down. You will be shocked at how often you see people going up and coming down in the Hebrew Bible. So another preposition means like, as, or according to. So we have 3 prepositions. Be, la, ka. And they will always be prefixed to a word. They will never stand alone. Ever. They will always be prefixed to a word. So for instance, ka asher. Go ahead and say it. Ka asher means just as or when. And this asher word is one that we've learned already. And we're just plastering a preposition to the front of it. And then it takes on the meaning just as. Or that which, who, when it's a relative particle, it's creating a relationship between.
Okay. Right. Okay. I again. Okay.
Oh, are you? Oh, right here. So basically what I was indicating here is the ka, it didn't. So as it turns out, writing Hebrew on a Mac is not always the easiest. The dash should be on the other side of the kaf to tell you that the kaf, there's a word that will always follow the kaf, just like there is below. So this dash is just here to tell you it's a prefix on this one. Down here, it's taking the vowel, the patak vowel, ka, a, sher. So yeah, this isn't a vowel in this case. It's just telling you there should be a word attached to it always.
Very correct.
You bring the smart ones, Wayne. What can you say? All right. Last ones here, and then we'll get you home. Lavash.
What?
Lavash. You should not wear something unless lavashed it. No, it's lavash. I try to put things behind them to help you remember it, but lavash means you're putting something on. He put something on. Lavash. It's tricky. This word will get transformed in certain forms. You can prefix this with a lamed, and it will change it into to dress, something like that, because of the lamed form. Ma means what? Y'all should know this one. Ma. And what does ma say? What? Okay, that's how you remember ma. Exactly. Mate or mate. You'll see it in either form. They don't do it here. Means staff or tribe. So a tribe would be just what it means. It's like a tribe of Benjamin. But a staff could also be their banner. Okay, the banner that would lead the tribe itself. Makom. Makom is a place. Means a place. By the way, if just for the minor nerd out moment, the root of this word, your three letters are the kof, the vav, and the mem. So this is actually the root, three-letter root of the word. Kom means a high place. Okay. Kum, the verb, means get up. Like rise up, get up. Okay. But if I put a mem and kamatz in front of it, it turns it into a noun. So it becomes a place. It can also mean a high place. Okay. Makom. Just want to point that out to you. Natan means to give. He gave, or he put. Should you guys find the courage and drive to get through the whole year on this word is the most complicated word form in all of Hebrew. There are many times that all you have left of this verb form of these three letters is a tav, especially in verbs. And so it takes a little intuition to say, it sounds like somebody's receiving something, so someone gave something to them. So I'm just going to give you a little heads up. There are a handful of words, about 3 words in the Hebrew that are so weak in their root letters that they just oftentimes drop. Sometimes 2 of their 3 letters just drop out entirely. But if you know your vocabulary, if you know it, you'll be like, okay, wait. I know that this T and Tav and Nun, I know that's from Natan. Odd. Until can mean still, as in they're still waiting. My favorite one's ein. Ein sounds like an I. Yes. Which one is it? Is it this one, the first one right here? It is a guttural. You got it. That's right. And it's this letter right here. It's an ayin. This is, in fact, how you spell ayin. It's the word for I. Yep. All right. Any questions over the vocab? That one, we good? Good. You guys read really good tonight. Like I could say the word, you could repeat it right after. That's awesome. You guys are doing great. Very, very good. It's only your 6th week. You're doing good. So, excellent.